Hey there, everybody. It's me, Audio Bible Lady, and I'm hopping on real quick today to go through Genesis chapter 8. We've been going through the book of Genesis over the last few weeks now, and we started with creation and Adam and Eve, and then Adam and Eve have their first two kids, Cain and Abel. And then Seth is born, and the world gets wicked. A lot of crazy stuff start happening. God is heartbroken over the people, but Noah found favor. He was found righteous. So Noah and his family, which are his wife, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, his children, and their wives, hop on this ark that God has him build, and a flood comes and covers the earth. And that's where we've left off. So I'm jumping on chapter 8, and I'm in the New Living Translation. It says, "But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and livestock with him in the boat. He sent a wind to blow across the earth, and the floodwaters began to recede. The underground waters stopped flowing, and the torrential rains from the skies were stopped. So the floodwaters gradually receded from the earth. After 150 days, exactly 5 months from the time the flood began, the boat came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. 2.5 months later, as the waters continued to go down, and other mountain peaks became visible. After another 40 days, Noah opened the window he had made in the boat and released a raven. The bird flew back and forth until the floodwaters on the earth had dried up. He also released a dove to see if the water had receded and it could find dry land. But the dove could not find a place to land because the water still covered the ground. So it returned to the boat, and Noah held out his hand and drew the dove back inside. After waiting another 7 days, Noah released the dove again. This time, the dove returned to him in the evening with a fresh olive leaf in its beak. Then Noah knew that the floodwaters were almost gone. He waited another 7 days and then released the dove again. This time, it did not come back. Noah was now 601 years old. On the first day of the new year, 10.5 months after the flood began, the floodwaters had almost dried up from the earth. Noah lifted back the covering of the boat and saw that the surface of the ground was drying. 2 more months went by, and at last the earth was dry. Then God said to Noah, "Leave the boat, all of you, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Release all the animals, the birds, the livestock, and the small animals that scurry along the ground, so they can be fruitful and multiply throughout the earth." So Noah, his wife, and his sons and their wives left the boat. And all the large and small animals and birds came out of the boat, pair by pair. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and there he sacrificed as burnt offerings the animal and birds that had been approved for that purpose. And the Lord was pleased with the aroma of the sacrifice and said to himself, "I will never again curse the ground because of the human race, even though everything they think or imagine is bent toward evil from childhood. I will never again destroy all living things. As long as the earth remains, there will be planting and harvest, cold, heat, summer, winter, day, and night." I'm going to go on to chapter 9 here, just because that was really short, and there's not a whole lot to expound on because basically it was just birds flying on and off the ark waiting to see if the waters had gone down enough and waiting for the Lord to say, okay, it's time to get out of this ark. I do like to note that he did make a sacrifice to the Lord, a burnt offering to him in gratitude and in thanksgiving for the Lord sparing them and allowing them to start anew. Okay, chapter 9, it says, "Then God blessed Noah and his sons and told them, 'Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. All the animals on the earth, all the birds of the sky, all the small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the fish in the sea will look on you with fear and terror. I have placed them in your power. I have given them to you for food, just as I have given you grain and vegetable. But you must never eat any meat that still has a lifeblood in it. And I will require the blood of anyone who takes another person's life. If a wild animal kills a person, it must die, and anyone who murders a fellow human must die. If anyone takes a human life, that person's life will also be taken by human hands. For God made human beings in his own image. Now be fruitful and multiply and repopulate the earth. Go have babies," is what my son's app says. We have a little baby Bible app that I have for him. And it's so funny because when we get to this part, he starts giggling and he says, "The babies, mommy, babies." And I'm like, "No, mama's not having no more babies. I already have you guys." But I think it's cute because it comes off and everybody's off the ark and starting anew and their way of making it relatable to a child is go have babies. It's cute. Sorry. I'm a mom. Can you tell? Then God told Noah and his sons, I hereby confirm my covenant with you and your descendants, and with all the animals that were on the boat with you, the bird, the livestock, and all the wild animals, every living creature on earth. Yes, I am confirming my covenant with you. Never again will floodwaters kill all the living creatures. Never again will a flood destroy the earth. Then God said, I am giving you a sign of my covenant with you and with all living creatures for all generations to come. I have placed my rainbow in the clouds. It is a sign of my covenant with you and with all the earth. When I send a cloud over the earth, the rainbow will appear in the clouds, and I will remember my covenant with you and with all living creatures. Never again will floodwaters destroy all life. When I see the rainbow in the clouds, I will remember the eternal covenant between God and every living creature on earth. Then God said to Noah, yes, this rainbow is the sign of the covenant I am confirming with all the creatures on earth. I'm going to wrap it up there because next we're going to get into Noah's sons and stuff. And a genealogy is in store soon, so I'll probably be skipping through that or just kind of grazing over it or something like that, just so that you don't have to sit here and laugh at me for like a whole 7 minutes as I mispronounce names and such. So I hope you enjoyed today's reading. I hope you learned something new out of it. I encourage you to go ahead and spend some time in the Word this week, and I love you guys. Bye!